pesticides and herbicides are a real deal. Atrazine, Alex Jones famously said, they're turning the frogs gay. But they are. They're making them hermaphrodites. They're making them switch sexes. I mean, atrazine is a very potent endocrine disruptor, and it's a fertilizer, or is it a pesticide? Pesticide. One of those. I think it's a pesticide.
Something needs to be done about it.
But there's a lot of that shit that they spray on food.
Oh, come on, Joe. Give the kid a laugh. Let's try again.
I was joking with my buddy the other day. I went and changed my oil at his house before we drove to North Carolina, and I left the empty jug or the dirty oil sitting in his garage, and I was like, I'll get it, whatever. He said, no, man. He said, I'm selling that on eBay. That's Oliver Anthony's authentic used motor oil out of his truck.
Probably get $20 for that.
Ouch. Tough crowd, huh? Oh, well, lucky he's a good singer. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't heard Oliver Anthony's song Rich Men North of Richmond, go check it out. Hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as I did. But we're not here to review songs. There's actually a much deeper point here that I want to share with all of you, and it involves Tom Segura and a random story he told from his recent appearance on JRE.
We had this thing where we had to bank episodes of our podcasts. So that means we were going into the studio at 9 or 10 and then just spending the day there, right? And I knew that when I got home, I'd be wiped. And we got, we'll be with the kids and we got to do dinner and get them ready for it. So I was like, I'm just going to get up. And so every day I just got up a little earlier, cold plunge first. So it's like that was my morning coffee. It's the first thing I did.
Wakes you right the fuck up.
Right the fuck up. And then right to the gym. And so that I would arrive at the studio in the best mood.
Yeah.
Just really in a great mood.
Yeah.
And then I would zip through the day. And I mean, even they were like, wow, you're nice. The staff.
Dude, it's like if you could take that in a pill form, it would be the most popular pill in the world.
100%. Yeah. No question. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what on earth does this story have to do with Oliver Anthony's rise to fame and his recent appearance on JRE? Stick around, this could get interesting. But just before I lay it all out for you, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of my videos. We're the fastest growing rebellion against podcast cringe on YouTube. As always, shout out to my ground level crew. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers, so jump on board to join the rebellion. Now, back to Oliver Anthony. He's been uploading his own songs to his YouTube channel since May of last year, and recently one of his songs went viral, due in part to Joe Rogan reposting it on his own socials. And then he found himself in the hot seat, sitting right opposite the little man. And what a breath of fresh air. This kid is authentic. He's raw, and he's got talent. And he wants to do all of it on his own.
If you had a song just about love that resonated like that, it would be almost impossible to hate you. But you have a song where you're talking about how people are fed up with shit, and it obviously resonated. I mean, I've seen songs go viral, but that's pretty bananas, son. Your shit went to the moon right away. And God, I'm not sure who sent it to me. I'll have to find out who sent it to me. Because it's one of those things where, once one person sent it to me, then it was dozens of people were sending it to me.
It's funny because originally that song wasn't it wasn't really even in my top 5. It's not normally the type of song. I've written songs with similar messages, but as far as that sort of I guess anthem format is what people are calling it. It's like an anthem. That's not something I would normally write, but
it's an unlikely anthem.
Yeah.
Insane times. It would be an unlikely anthem.
Yeah, I had no idea that song would react the way it did.
So the themes of his song Rich Men North of Richmond are centered around poor economic outcomes for the everyday man. Bullshit pay, nothing to eat, the dollar ain't shit, each dollar is taxed to no end. But he also sings about child trafficking, minors on an island, the obese milking welfare, and the elites who want to have total control. And I think it's fucking brilliant. But what's even more impressive than his song is the man himself and his journey to get where he is today.
like when I decided I was in it to win it, and I really wanted to make this thing happen. It was probably May of last year when I uploaded "Ain't Got a Dollar," or it might have been "Rich Man's Gold" was the first one I uploaded on YouTube. But that's when I decided, like, all right, I'm doing this thing. But yeah,
so you were just smoking too much weed, drinking too much, and just procrastinating.
Yeah. And so that, and you know, like, anxiety is definitely something that's underestimated. You know, I used to but I used to just not really understand when people talked about mental health and anxiety, because everyone gets stressed out over stuff, and so you think of anxiety as being just like this normal phenomenon everyone deals with, but your mind can really put you in a dark place to where that thing it just holds on to you like a you know, and it just makes it very difficult for you to do anything. And so I spent at least 2 years of my life almost constantly just having what felt like just a knot right here, just wrenching at me.
Well, that's especially true for people that are pursuing a non-traditional life, you know, that doesn't have any guarantees. It's a wild life to try to be an entertainer, like to just to choose to try to make it in this wild world of people that are singing and making songs, and you want people to pay attention to you. Like, do you know how many fucking people are singing?
Yeah.
How many people can sing? How many people are recording things? And now with YouTube and the like, how many people are putting stuff up on the internet for other people to enjoy? It's a lot.
Well,
the idea that you're going to stand out. So that you're filled with anxiety just because of that, because this future's uncertain.
Yeah, I think for me, a lot of the anxiety came from me just feeling like I was running out of time.
So I think it gives his song more weight knowing about his own struggle, that he lifted himself up and effectively made a decision to be great. And that's what seems to be resonating with people all around the world. He also seems to have a simple yet mature mindset which you can't help but relate to in your own life. His rise to fame has clearly been a battle for him, but he's dealing with it quite well, due in part to his high levels of self-awareness.
I'm the subject matter the last couple of weeks, and you know, in everyone's defense, I probably haven't. I've waited for this opportunity, I guess, to really have a real conversation with somebody about whatever it is I am. So people are just trying to find who's this Oliver Anthony guy, and what is he, and where does he work, and who did he vote for, and what's his family like, and yada, because they want to sort of build this image of whatever it is that the person behind the song represents, for better or for worse.
Right.
The people who agree with it want to. You know, I don't know. It's really funny to watch on my end, because obviously I know what's true and what's not, and so like just even what I've skimmed through of people sending me like singing at the Super Bowl, like how many people have formed an opinion about whether or not I should be paid to sing at the Super Bowl. Like, I'm not singing at the Super Bowl. That's just somebody made up. But you know, there's been hundreds of hours of people's time wasted probably talking about all these little like things that don't even exist. It's just somebody made them up and put them on the internet, and so I'm just letting them ride. I think it's great.
It's wild.
I just think it's great, like that. At least the last couple of weeks, I've been able to entertain everyone and get everyone's mind off like all the other horrible stuff that's going on in the world right now. Like, at least everybody can have a good laugh, you know. So.
And finally, now that he is well known and has more money and resources, he's under no illusion about his own self-importance. He seems to be heavily grounded in his passion for music and doesn't seem bothered with all the trivial bells and whistles that come with money and fame.
As busy as things get, I don't know that I'd ever let anybody even manage my social media and stuff. Like, that's just something that I'd like to have the hand on. And then if, you know.
I do mine. I do all mine.
Yeah.
I don't let anybody do my shit.
Well,
That's
I think
ridiculous.
like just with your, like we talked about earlier, your show in general, the reason people watch it isn't, you know, you could add more people in and have more special effects and lights and what, you know, figuratively speaking, like you could make this into something bigger than what it already is, but it would just take away. Like, sometimes the more you add, the more you take away. It's the fact that you have conversations with people that you're genuinely interested in. Like, we don't have enough real conversation anyway in the world.
Okay, great. I'll stop stroking his dick now, but you have to admit, dick stroking aside, he does seem like a genuine dude. Now, at the beginning of this video, I showed you a story from Tom Segura that he told recently on JRE about how he dealt with a particularly difficult time in his life. With everything we've just seen from Oliver Anthony in mind, let's take another look at Segura's groundbreaking realization.
We had this thing where we had to bank episodes of our podcasts. So that means we were going into the studio at 9 or 10 and then just spending the day there, right? And I knew that when I got home, I'd be wiped. And we got, we'll be with the kids and we got to do dinner and get them ready for bed. So I was like, I'm just going to get up. And so every day I just got up a little earlier, cold plunge first. So it's like that was my morning coffee. It's the first thing I did.
Wakes you right the fuck up.
Right the fuck up. And then right to the gym. And so that I would arrive at the studio in the best mood.
Yeah.
Just like really in a great mood.
Yeah.
And then I would zip through the day. And I mean, even they were like, wow, you're like nice. Like the staff. Like,
dude, it's like if you could take that in a pill form, it would be the most popular pill in the world.
100%. Yeah. No question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, on face value, it's just a normal story. Some of you might be thinking, what are you going on about? There's nothing to see here. But it was this bit in particular that really got under my skin.
So that means we were going into the studio at 9 or 10 and then just spending the day there, right? And I knew that when I got home, I'd be wiped. And we got, we'll be with the kids and we got to do dinner and get them ready for bed.
What Tom Segura just described there is having a job, like most of us do. He literally just described rocking up to his studio at 9 or 10 a.m. where he has staff who work for him to record some podcasts and then finishing up after a day's work to go get the kids from school and do dinner and get them to bed and all that. And he did it for a couple of weeks or so. What the actual fuck? Most people do that for years and years and years. But when Segura has to do a normal day's work like most of us do, he's unbearable unless he has his cold plunge and hits the gym. Now, I don't care if he's rich and has nice things and all that shit. I honestly couldn't give a fuck. Good luck to him. It's not about that. It's his brain-dead realization that because he experiences what most people do on a daily basis, he has to create some wanky narrative that he needs a very particular routine to get through it. Why? Because he's special. He's not the ordinary man, so he needs a little more to cope with daily stresses, even only for a couple of weeks. This is why Oliver Anthony resonated with me so well, because I'm so fucking sick and tired of having to listen to these elite wannabe divas constantly telling us how great they are and how we should value their time and energy more than the everyday man. Oliver Anthony was the man that we needed, not just his song, but the man himself. Do you know why he's so excited about everything that's happening to him at the moment? It's not a new Porsche or fancy house or expensive watch. It's the fact that he won't have to struggle anymore to do the thing that he loves, making music about real people for real people. And this is the power of Joe Rogan when he gets it right. You guys know I'm a big Rogan fan. Next to all these other yuppies, he seems to still be somewhat grounded and not too full of himself, apart from his insistence on calling himself a comedian. But this is what we want more of from Rogan. These are the kind of podcasts that set him apart from the pack. Think about it. Who else could swing that much power, help a guy to go viral, and then have him on his podcast for a casual chat and smoke some cigars like a couple of fucking mad dogs, even if he couldn't get the box of cigars open or laugh at any of the kids' jokes? Oliver Anthony obviously went on JRE to promote himself and perhaps even celebrate his success. But he gave us something first. He gave us a lot. And he doesn't plan on stopping. Most of the leeches in the Joe Rogan universe aren't funny anymore. They don't produce good content. Their number one goal is to sit back and cash in on material they wrote 20 years ago. At least this kid has something to offer and has the drive, talent, and ambition to see it through himself. Let's hope he can keep it up. I wish him nothing but the best. Anyway, that's enough cockriding for today. I'm starting to feel sick. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Remember, I'll pin the best comment. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button and become a subscriber so you can keep up to date with all my latest videos. I'll chat to you guys soon. See you in the next one.
It's good that we did this interview and that we got to get on here and talk, but I don't want to talk a whole lot anymore, I don't think. Like,
you don't have to.
I'm not a talker. I'm a writer, and so I hope moving forward that I'll just be able to communicate with people just through music and not worry so much about doing interviews and stuff like that.
Well, hey, brother, thank you very much for coming in here. Congratulations on everything. Enjoy the ride. You're going to be fine.
Yeah. No, it's fun.
We'll do it again in a couple of years.
Yeah, that sounds good. I don't want to talk a whole lot anymore, I don't think. Like,
you don't have to.
I'm not a talker.
We'll do it again in a couple of years.
Yeah, that sounds good.